And then he also got me some popia bites, which is one of my favorites, but this one was also like made differently than to what it is in Penang, so it wasn't quite as yummy. But it was still obviously like very good. So 7 out of, or not out of 10, it would be 7.2 maybe. Yeah, it was still very good. And then you know, Ivan, he's so nice. He like paid for everything. He paid for my movie ticket too. That was really nice of him. And also for the beef noodle in the morning too. And then we walked around the mall again, and we happened to come across the Egyptian squash players. They're always shopping, especially like in Nike and like those like shoe athletic stores. Yeah, there is Mido, there is Khaled Labib, there is Mena, both Menas. Salma, I think, was there too. But yeah, the girls didn't see us, but the two guys, they saw us walking by, and you know, like we waved. Yeah, so I got my snacks and we're walking around. We happened to come across the Egyptians, and then to kill time, he was like, oh, what if we got some dessert? So we went around like looking for dessert. At first we were thinking of maybe getting like waffles, but we couldn't find any waffles in the mall. And then we're like, oh, what if we got crepes? But then on the way to finding crepes, we came across the ice cream. It's a chocolate restaurant or chocolate store, but they have ice cream too. It's I think it's Godiva or Godiva. I don't know how to pronounce it. So we ended up getting chocolate ice cream. It was really yummy. Here's a little picture. But yeah, that was really good ice cream actually. Like the chocolate ice cream, like the ice cream was just really soft and it was rich. Like you can tell it was like rich chocolate. And at that point, I think it was probably 8:30. And then I was like, oh, you know, I should probably head over to the airport. So I think we left the mall and then we got to the airport at 9. I said my goodbyes to Ivan, and then, oh my god, okay, so this is when like the stress like really started. So you know how like I have like kind of bad luck traveling. Sometimes it's because of, actually I feel like most of the time somehow I just like miss information. So then I just make it like harder on myself, but luckily, you know, I'm like a really chill person, so even though I am like really stressed out, I feel like I kind of keep my composure. So I was trying to check in at the kiosk, but that wasn't working, so I had to go to a desk, and then the lady was like asked me if I had my visa for Australia. And I looked at her, I was like, as a Canadian, I don't think I need a visa to Australia. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what like Google told me. She was like, no, you need I think it's called the ETA or something. And she was talking to her coworker and trying to get me my boarding pass. And she was saying that, no, like, I'm not able to get your boarding pass unless you get this visa. And I was like, oh no, like, that's kind of bad. So, and okay, at this point too, at that time, my phone was at 10%, but I knew like my battery's pretty bad. So I knew it was gonna like probably die on me pretty quickly. And also, you know, I have low storage too. So I Googled like this visa, and I downloaded the app, and you know, when I was downloading the app, it was triple checking with me to see like, are you sure you want to download this app? Like, so I deleted a couple videos so I had enough space to download the app. And then you know how like my keyboard on my phone, like my screen is kind of messed up. So it was such a struggle to type everything that I needed, because the app also, it doesn't like turn, like when I turn the phone, it doesn't also like turn as well. because that's how like I can get only some of the letters necessary and numbers necessary. Also my phone was dying, so it was at 1% and I had still gone through maybe like step 2 of like the visa process. And you know, also there's the time too, because obviously I have to like check in before a certain time, and I have I need to check in a baggage too. So you know, I have to do that before the like check-in baggage time closes. And so I went to just a random like restaurant, found a outlet that was working because I was at 1%, and was charging my phone, but the outlet wasn't working very well, so you have to like press the like the charger into the wall to make sure that it's actually charging. So it kept like the charging kept like turning off and stuff. Luckily though, like my phone stayed alive the whole time. That 1%, man. That 1% is really when the phone burns brightest, doesn't it? So yeah, we were at 1% getting this visa, and anyways, then I had to, you know, like wait a bit for this code for my visa application to be approved. And at this point in time, I think it was 10 p.m. so it's an hour and a half before my flight. So I was stressing, but at the same time I was just moving stuff around in my 2 bags because I was just making the checked-in bag heavier. It's only like just over 1 kg, but just making it heavier so that my bag that I have on my my backpack was just lighter, easier travel, you know. And then, you know, trying to keep the phone charged too. And then it like just past 10, it said the visa application was approved. And then so I ran over to the counter, and the lady, you know, I didn't like wait in line because she just told me to like just go up to her as soon as I have it done. And then she didn't even look at the visa process thing, like because it sends you an ID, or on the app it shows you like the ID number of your like approved visa application. She didn't even need it or even have to like look at it, and then she got me my boarding pass. So I was kind of like, bruh. Definitely just had to press a button saying like yes, they have it, or they don't. I mean, either way I would need it for when I arrive. Sorry, there's a mosquito. So I got it. I had to, she said that I can't have my squash rackets. They were kind of like poking on the bag. They said I have to send those in separately. I didn't have to pay for the extra baggage, but you know, I'm kind of like annoyed because of the time, but also because it's just easier to have my squash rackets with the bag. I had like a duffel bag, but she's like, no, you have to get those wrapped up, and she sent me over to like a place to get it wrapped up. And for a second I thought the guy who like wrapped up my case said that it would be, so I thought it'd be 15 ringgit, but when I showed him the money, he was like, no, I thought he said 70, and I'm like, why is it so expensive? Because on the board it says if it's like a small box it's 15. So why is 2 squash rackets that he just, you know, like wrapped up in a circle, why is that 70 ringgit? So he actually meant 17 when I got my change back, but obviously I was kind of like, thank goodness, because that would be a ripoff. But then I had to rush over to find where the international oversized baggage claim is, because apparently my rackets, they have to go with the oversized baggage claim. And then I was able to go through security and check in, security, and go through the gate. That was very smooth. And by the time I finally got to my gate, they actually happened to be boarding at that time. And then an interesting like mini story when I was at the gate.